Hello you guys, welcome back. She Loves God here. Today's video topic is on the topic of Christian women and head coverings. And not just head coverings, but also long hair, about how Christian women are asked in the Bible to wear their hair. Now, I'm going to just read, I want to read some verses to you. This is in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 1 through 16, and I'll read it to you. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God." So the way the order it seems to be woman, then man, then Jesus, then God. Every man praying or prophesying having his head every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head. Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head. So if a man has his head covered, I guess a hat or whatever, a hat or a whatever you want, a veil or whatever, head covering, dishonoreth his head. Now, you know, some people wonder, oh, are they saying he's dishonoring his actual physical head? Or are they saying he's dishonoring Jesus, his spiritual head? So I'm not sure. I guess maybe you all can leave comments and let me know. And then verse 5 says, but every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. So for the men, if your head is covered, you're dishonoring your head, whether that be Jesus or your physical head. But for the women, it's the opposite. If we're praying with our heads uncovered, Paul says we're dishonoring our head. So does that mean we're dishonoring our own physical head, or does it mean we're dishonoring our husbands if you're married, or does it mean even if you're single you're just dishonoring men in general? I don't know. And verse 5 goes on to say, for that is even all as if she were shaven. It's saying it's the same thing as if she were shaven. So if you were shaved bald, he's saying it's the same thing. He's saying praying or prophesying with your head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. Verse 6, for if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. So if the woman is not covered, if her head is not covered, let her also be shaved. If you're not going to cover your head when you pray or prophesy, go ahead and shave your hair off too. That's what it sounds like Paul is saying. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, I think shorn just means to have your hair cut. Not shaved bald, but just cut. So it says, but if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. So I'm sure these people at this time period, I'm guessing it probably was a shame. I think in all the cultures at that time, women, I guess, had long hair. I guess that's what one person told me. So he said, so if it is a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, to just have cut hair or shaved hair, let her be covered. So if it's a shame, go ahead and cover your head up. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. And that really confused me. I didn't get that at all. But he says, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Now, I'm not sure if that power is talking about, a head covering or hair, but I think it's probably talking about having a man A man covering her, I'm guessing. I may need to look that up. It says, nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. But all things of God. So I'm thinking, someone said, what that meant was that, the truth is that, apart from Adam, no other man in this world would have been created had it not been for a woman birthing him. So it's like saying, the woman was made from the man. Eve was made from Adam. She was taken out of his rib. But every other man after Adam could not have come into the world without a woman. Even Jesus himself could not have come into the world without a woman. I think the only other person other than Adam who was on earth who did not have to be born was King Melchizedek. They said he had neither mother nor father, or beginning or end of days, I believe. So he didn't have a mother, of course, but everyone else had to have a woman to come into the world. Now I want to look up and see what they meant when they said power. They said, for this cause a woman ought to have power on her head because of the angels. Okay, let me look that up really quickly. I have a strong concordance here, and it'll tell you what the Greek word meant in the New Testament, what it really meant. Okay, for power, it's the Greek word exousia. Exousia. It says it's from, it means in the sense of ability or privilege, force, capacity, competency, freedom, mastery, magistrate, superhuman, potentate, token of control, delegated influence, authority, jurisdiction, liberty, power, right, or strength. So I'm getting from what this means is a token of control, a magistrate, an authority figure over her. So whatever that means, for whatever that's worth. Okay, a few more verses. 13. Judging yourselves. Just think to yourself. Is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered? Does that even look right? Is it even attractive? Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. So we know that the only person who can give you hair is God. So he's saying God has given women this glory, and it is given to her for a covering. So if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her. So if you have long hair, if you don't have it, that's one thing. But if you have long hair, it is a glory to you. Last verse, 16. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God. Now, I don't know. Now, it seems pretty common sense. It seems like what he's saying is, if any man seem to have a problem with this and quarrelsome about this, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God. Now, from what it looks like he's saying, if you have a problem with this, none of the churches of God have this custom. Now, it seems like it's talking mostly about the hair thing, because the last two verses are talking about women having long hair and men having long hair. But it could also be talking about the head coverings too. But then one website I went to said, now why would Paul spend all these verses talking about covering your head only for him to turn around and say, but if it's a problem for you, we have no such custom, neither do any of the churches of God. Because the truth is that, Paul, he did put a lot of emphasis into everything. He told us, he went through telling us a description about the woman's head is a man, and then the man's covering, a man's head is Jesus, and Jesus' head is God, and because of that, covering your head because of the angels, and your hair is glory. And, some website I went to said, why would he go through all that just to turn around and say, it's no biggie? So they said that what he really meant by that phrase was that, they said that what he really meant by verse 16 of 1 Corinthians 11 is that, and if you have they said what he really meant was that if you have a custom where men can have long hair and women can have short hair, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God. So that's what some people say. They say he spent too much effort in that, not to be serious about it. Now notice that, it says a woman's covering is the man. And I'm thinking when it's saying that, I'm thinking it's talking about her husband. I don't know if it's talking about women in general, but maybe it's talking about, specifically women, who are married. So there is an example there's an example in Genesis with Rebecca and Isaac. Okay? And that's Genesis 24, verse, let's start at verse 61. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man being Isaac's servant. And they fought because Isaac's dad sent out. Yeah, Isaac's dad. He sent out Isaac's dad, of course, is Abraham. He sent out a servant to go find a wife for his son Isaac. So the servant went out, whatever, he found Rebekah. So it says, and Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well, Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So when she saw her future husband coming, she covered herself. She covered her, and so when 1 Corinthians 11 talks about, because a woman's head being a woman's head being her husband, and they honor it, and to honor her head when her head is covered, that she's honoring her head, it made me think of that verse there. And so my question is, are all women supposed to have head coverings, or is this just for women who are married? And then also with the long hair thing. Now with the long hair thing, it said a woman's hairs are covering. And there are some churches out there that forbid their women to cut their hair. They say if a woman has long hair, it is a glory to her. And I want to show you a picture of some women with beautiful, their hair is so long and beautiful. I thought it was just like gorgeous. And when they said it's a woman's glory, I believe it, because these women, they just look so regal and glorious with their long hair. So I want to show you all a picture of that. Okay, it's 6 different women. And they look like they're dressed really modest. So they're not just, women who have long hair. They look like they're probably Christian women. So here are their pictures. So I think it's a photographer. He only shoots women who have long hair. So of course they look like they're Christians because they're all covered up and everything. And look at, their hair is just, you just know that only God could design. God intentionally did this. He intentionally had these women have long hair, and it really is a glory to them. And then here's a contrast. I wanted to show you all a contrast: the woman with short hair and a woman with long hair. And I want you all to tell me: do you think one lady is more glorious than the other because of her hair length? Okay, now we see here. This is another lady. She's, she looks like she's, it's a really old picture. So, of course, she's going to look like she's dressed modestly. Because this is a really old picture. But look, she has hair for days. It's just for days. This is her glory. It's dragging on the ground. This woman here, her hair is much shorter. I'm guessing this is what Paul meant when he said showing. You can see her scalp and everything. So do you all think this woman here has more glory to her than this woman does? Do you think this woman here, do you think if she had a husband, she'd be dishonoring her head? Do you think that she should not be praying to God with her head not covered? So I want, and I'll be honest with you all from personal experience. When I wear, like me, for example, I have natural hair. I have like a fro under these braids, these extensions. These are extensions. But when I wear like a long hair wig, or have long hair in my head, weave, I'm telling you, and I say I get a totally different reaction from men. It's like totally night and day. I get hits from men, with my short hair too, but it's a totally different reaction. So look for part 2. Thank you.